Today is December the 21st, Wednesday. Welcome to danDier Investments live trading journal, where we analyze my trades and figure out how we extract money out of this market. So we're down to the 15-minute time frame, starting on the 60, identifying those demand and supply levels. So here we see our trend line from yesterday. We broke above that. Currently making a few higher lows. So you're trying to figure out exactly where do we have our edge in the market. So just trying to use my drawing tool and figure out where are some potential areas of interest for us today. To drop it down to the 10-minute, see price has been rising over the last day or so, but it's kind of flattening out. Touched this level twice. So now we have our first trading hypothesis. Want to look and see if we can find a sell order here, particularly coming back to these levels and getting a bounce off to the downside. So here we're identifying a potential trend line on the smaller time frame. This isn't necessarily a trend line, but just being able to identify that we are making lower highs. Also have this gap that we filled in, so that may be a particular area of interest as well. So trying to figure out exactly what's going on. We have this area here that may be a potential reversal area. If we get a turnaround, trying to stay in line for our trading hypothesis 1, the sell order. So you see that price consistently came to this area and made a turnaround before moving lower. So I want to see if we get some bounce back in this area and maybe dip a little higher. Try to put a sell order in this area here. Also identifying other areas of support, our previous support. We see that this level has held twice before, with the price dipping down below. We want to sell order, so we want to see exactly what happens near certain levels, see if they are still holding true. Our price is just blowing through. So it took me a little while to get in today. Ended up watching for the first 30 minutes or so. So I'm gonna speed this up. We see that we bounced off of this trend line here that we identified on the 1-minute time frame. Was looking for price to come back down to this area and potentially get in a buy order, but that didn't work out. We see that price touched it and immediately shot up. Now we got price returning to this area of interest here. I want to see what happens here. Marking off our most recent high. See if we can get a turnaround into this area. Putting in my limit order. We see that we blew through the trend line and also that most recent high. And now we're approaching this pivot level. So I still have my sell order in, looking for a potential turnaround, but with this much bullish movement, kind of hesitant, because we may be changing the trend of the day. So we still got some bullish movement. So I'm thinking that price is going to approach this pivot level before it even thinks about turning around. We got the buyers and sellers going back and forth. But then as it turns out, prices continue to move lower. So we see today that there isn't much confirmation or retest going on in the market. Price is touching a level and immediately reversing. So we have to be a little bit more vigilant and be willing to hop in to a trade when we identify our immediate edge. There isn't going to be much retest or returning to certain levels allowing us to get more confirmation. So we see here price is dipping down to this level here. It held previously before this smaller or larger dip. So I just want to see if this ends up holding or this price broke through this again to give us a lower low. We see that we got a turnaround there. So now this is interesting. This shows that we are having somewhat or in a range. That's why price was flattening out. We're getting some consolidation before price decides to move lower or higher on the higher time frames. So now I put in a buy order here. Was hoping that price returned to this level, allowed me to get in on some bearish movement before shooting back up. But as I said before, that isn't the theme of today. The theme of today is more so touching a level and immediately reversing direction. So we can see that we did make a lower low. Still trending in between this particular range.
Get off the field.
So we have a higher low here. So now what I'm looking for is maybe the direction has changed. What I'm looking for is my trading hypothesis 2, this buy order, looking to get in this area here, because this may be a potential bull flag for us. So I want to see price break above this closing candle here. As it does, so this shows me some bullish sentiment. So I'm gonna place my order, looking for the market direction to change, or identify that the market direction has changed because we put in a higher low. We also broke previous resistance earlier, which you can see by this horizontal line. So pretty confident in this position. We also know from previous turnarounds that prices are going to come down and retest, or we assume that prices are going to come down and retest this area here where my stop loss is. So if it returns now to my stop loss, that just means that we weren't correct on our hypothesis. As we can see, price goes up. First target filled, locked in profit for today. And now we're just going to kind of manage the trade a little bit, because if our hypothesis is correct, we are now in a bullish area. Target 2 filled, moving my stops up, locking in more profit. Now I'm interested to see what happens at this pivot level here. Does price blow through that, or does it consolidate around this particular area? So moving on my target, just give me a little bit of room to breathe. So going back to identify potential areas of turnaround. So you see that this is the previous area where price came and bounced off of. That's where my target is. I want to see if my target gets filled up this area, or if it continues to gain back all of that downward movement previously. So now I'm moving my stop up to the R1 level. Looking back at the trade, if I left my target here, would have came out with a lot more money, but got a little bit risk adverse. Was in the market since about 9:20 this morning, so it's getting a little restless, if you will. So that's one thing I'm still working on, being able to stay in the market, stay in the zone, and resist tilt for longer periods of time, enabling myself to see more moves and take more profit and extract money out of the market. So I decided to move my stop up to this level. Was pretty confident that the stop would be hit, just knowing from pullbacks. So figured that price was going to drop below, but end of the day, in profit. Today's lesson is to be very vigilant. Be ready for change in the market, always looking for new opportunities and potentially changing the sentiment, whether it's a bearish sentiment or bullish sentiment. Just be vigilant, looking for new opportunities, because your hypothesis may change. But you have to be ready, be vigilant to take heed of the opportunity. But with that being said, in the day, December 21st, 1 for 1, $3,645 in profit. Another good day in the market. And while you're still here, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're here next time when we are analyzing live trades with danDier Investments.